Nono was a rich, stubborn university student. He had everything he could ask for, but he was also full of pride. One day, Nono and his friends were invited to a village trip, which was organized by the university. Although Nono wanted to fly to the village, he reluctantly boarded the bus along with his classmates. Upon arrival at the village, an old man met Nono and his friends at the entrance. With a calm voice, he warned them about the sacred forest nearby. "Do not disrespect the spirits," he said, pointing to the dense trees. Nono laughed it off, not taking the warning seriously. Nono and his friends walked into the forest, excited to explore. Deep inside, they found a strange stone surrounded by a powerful aura. "Bet you can't do it," one of his friends challenged. Nono, full of pride, accepted the dare and decided to urinate on the stone. That night, after urinating on the sacred stone, Nono had a terrible dream. In his sleep, he found himself back at the stone, urinating once more. But this time, the forest seemed alive, and a dark presence hovered around him. He woke up in a cold sweat, feeling uneasy. When Nono woke up from the dream, he realized something horrifying. He had urinated on himself in his sleep. He quickly blamed it on the dream, but the embarrassment stuck with him, as he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Later that day, while Nono was in the village hotel, the same thing happened again. He suddenly found himself urinating uncontrollably. Even though he wasn't asleep, Nono began to fear that his actions in the forest were causing these strange events. Desperate, Nono sought the help of the blind old man who had warned them earlier. The old man listened carefully, then explained that Nono had angered the spirit of the sacred forest by urinating on its grave. The spirit now sought revenge. The old man told Nono that in order to save himself, he must make a great sacrifice. "You must either sacrifice your ability to urinate, or give up your ability to have children," the old man said. Nono felt trapped. Neither option seemed acceptable. Nono returned to his hotel room, torn between the two options. He could not imagine a life without his pride, but the thought of losing his future children was too much to bear. He decided to ask his friend Uchi for help. Nono offered Uchi a large sum of money in exchange for his reproductive organ, hoping he would sacrifice it on his behalf. But Uchi refused. He was disappointed in Nono's pride and greed, and he told him that no amount of money could change what had been done. Despite the warnings and offers of help, Nono refused to make the sacrifice. That night, as he slept, he was struck with a powerful, unbearable pain. He awoke gasping for breath, but it was too late. Nono passed away in his sleep, his pride having sealed his fate. Uchi, heartbroken by his friend's death, moved on. He focused on his studies and career, building a life that was full of success and happiness. His story was a reminder of the importance of humility, respect, and the consequences of pride. Years later, Uchi would tell the story of Nono to anyone who would listen. "Never let pride cloud your judgment," he would say. "Respect for the unseen forces of the world is important. You never know what can happen if you disregard them." The village, once shrouded in mystery and superstition, began to thrive. People from all around came to learn about the sacred forest and the importance of respecting nature. The old man's warning became a well-known lesson. Uchi's success became an example for the younger generations. The moral of Nono's tragic story was passed on through the years, and the village continued to prosper, never forgetting the lessons learned from the past. Uchi, now an elder, stood by the sacred forest one last time, reflecting on the lessons of pride, sacrifice, and respect. The village had changed, and so had he. He knew that Nono's legacy would live on, a reminder to never underestimate the power of humility. Years passed, and Uchi returned to the village, bringing his family with him. He wanted to show them the place that had taught him so many important lessons. The village was no longer feared but celebrated as a place of wisdom and history. As Uchi visited the old man's home, he noticed a new face, a young man named Kalechi. Kalechi had heard the story of Nono's death and had come to learn from the elders. Uchi welcomed him, knowing that the village's wisdom needed to be passed on. Kalechi was not sure if he believed in the supernatural. He asked the old man, "Is it really true that the forest is sacred?" The old man nodded and said, "The forest teaches respect for the world beyond our sight. If you are wise, you will listen to its lessons." The old man told Kelechi about the fate of Nono. He was proud and it cost him everything, the old man explained. Kelechi listened carefully, beginning to understand the power of humility and respect for the unseen forces. The next day, Kelechi decided to venture into the forest, hoping to understand its power. As he walked through the trees, he felt a sense of peace. But suddenly, he heard a loud rustling, and a cold breeze swept through the area. He quickly turned around, unsure of what to expect. The spirit of the forest appeared before Kelechi. It was a shadowy figure, tall and silent, but its presence was undeniable. "Respect the land and the spirits," it whispered before disappearing into the trees. Kelechi felt both frightened and awestruck. After his encounter with the spirit, Kelechi returned to the village, shaken but enlightened. That night, the village held a festival to honor the spirits of the forest. Uchi and his family joined, and Kelechi realized that the villagers' respect for the forest was not out of fear, but out of gratitude. Kelechi's experience in the forest changed him. He returned to the village more humble and respectful. He no longer questioned the teachings of the old man. Instead, he took every opportunity to learn, sharing his newfound wisdom with others. Years later, Kelechi became an elder of the village. He taught the younger generation about the importance of respect, humility, and the balance between the seen and unseen worlds. He told them the story of Nono and how arrogance can lead to disastrous consequences. One evening, as Kelechi was walking through the forest, the spirit returned. This time it appeared in front of him, but instead of anger, there was a sense of peace. "You have learned the ways of the land," the spirit said. "You will protect the sacred forest." As the years went by, the village flourished. The villagers respected the land, the spirits, and each other. Kelechi's leadership brought prosperity, and the story of Nono remained a powerful lesson in the hearts of all. The children of the village grew up learning from the elders. They were taught not just the ways of their ancestors, but also the importance of living in harmony with nature. The legacy of respect and humility continued through them. As Kelechi grew older, he knew that his time as the village elder was coming to an end. He was content knowing that the teachings he had passed on would live forever in the hearts of the villagers. He had learned humility and respect, and that was his true legacy. On his last day, Kelechi walked one final time into the forest. He stood by the sacred stone, remembering the lessons of Nono and the importance of respect. The spirit appeared one last time, nodding in approval. Kelechi smiled, knowing the village would continue to thrive as long as they honored the land and each other. Thank you for joining us on this magical journey through the heart of the village. We hope this story has shown you the beauty and mystery that can be found in everyday life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this tale with your friends. Who knows what other secrets we will uncover in the next adventure?